the end of this chapter, the student should be able to first explain the classical representation and self-perception of women in the arts and state the influence of mass media in the shaping the current objectification of women.
In early Western art, women were commonly painted or sculpted to highlight their physical beauty rather than their identity, power, or achievements. Since most artists were men, women were often shown from a male perspective, focusing on appearance. In Western art, women were often the subject of paintings and sculptures, but they weren't usually the artists themselves. Instead, they were the muse, the inspiration for male artists. This meant women were often depicted in art. Male gaze is the idea that women in media and art are shown from a male perspective, where they are viewed mainly as objects of desire rather than as independent individuals. So this talks about how people enjoy looking at others, often in a way that controlling or objectifying. The term scopophilia describes this pleasure of looking, where others are treated as objects for our gaze. Most nude images or artworks features women, and very few nude images or artworks feature men. Women in advertisements is the way women are presented in ads, often focusing on beauty, body image, and attractiveness to help sell products. The images show women posed in a way that highlights their bodies and physical attractiveness. This is common in advertisements, where women are used to promote products by focusing on beauty and sex appeal.
Women in film and the film industry. This section discusses the underrepresentation and lack of agency for women in the media. We have the gender gap, behind the scenes, work versus appearance, and marketing bias. To fix this, the industry must prioritize hiring women in leadership and creative roles to ensure diverse stories are told and marketed with the same financial backing as male lead projects. Women and sexualization. This topic focuses on how women are portrayed as objects rather than as a person. We have the body as self-worth, cognitive impact, and mental health risks. The best solution is for media companies to show women in active professional roles, while we teach young people to value themselves for what they can do rather than how they look. The Bechdel-Wallace test, a simple metric used to evaluate presence and depth of female characters in work of fictions. Why it matters? The test is simple. It reveals how many stories fail to give women their interests, careers, or friendships. It isn't a measure of movies' qualities, but rather a tool to highlight the need for more diverse and realistic female perspectives in media. Beauty as a weapon against women. This section explores Naomi Wolf's beauty myth and how capitalism uses beauty to control women. We have the beauty myth, economic control, looked-at-ness, workplace pressure, and the pornography of billboards. The best solution is to stop tying a woman's value to her face or body. Instead, celebrate her real work and choices.
Colonial roots of beauty. Beauty standards in the Philippines are tied to a colonial experience. Colonizers established whiteness as a symbol of power and superiority. Darker skin and hair were marginalized and associated with a lack of social status. Beauty as a social class. A physical traits signal economic privilege. Fair skin suggests a life of leisure, not a toiling under the sun. While tan skin is linked to labor. The Western ideal, thin and light skin as unattainable for the working class. Media monopoly and objectification. Media often present a woman as a socialized product. To maximize profit, the industry relies on narrow, objectified image of woman. This monopoly prevents a diverse, authentic version of womanhood from being seen. Empowerment by storytelling. Women must control the narrative. Empowerment means giving a woman the funding and tools to create their own movies, book, and art. This allows them to redefine womanhood beyond being just sexual objects. Media literacy and reform. Critical analysis is the key to change. Both men and women need training to recognize destructive media messages. We must learn to analyze how this image shape our self-worth and our view of the world.